This is Inside Badger Football with head coach Trey Shucker. Inside Badger Football is brought to you by Bell Wealth Services, Welch Funeral Home, Wingfield Properties, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Sporting Goods, Turner, Rogers, Manning, and Plyler, Taylor King Law, Trinity Temple Assembly of God, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, South Central Connect, Java Primo, Southwest Auto Group, R&T Dixon Enterprises, Ludwig's Bakery, the law offices of Gina White, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Batson Signs, Print Mania, Scott Bird DDS, Sexton Law Firm, Chad Kesterson Shelter Insurance, Chicken Express, Pediatrics Plus, and Providence Veterinary Care. The host of Inside Badger Football is Cooper Darr.
Welcome back to Inside Badger Football with head coach Trey Shucker. How are you, Coach?
Doing great. We're still here today. We're in the playoffs, and if we're still doing this, that means we're winning. So I'm happy to be here.
That's right. I may not have a Malvern Arkadelphia belt over my shoulder, but we do have a playoff win underneath our belt.
That's right.
That is a very, very good start off to basically a new season into the playoffs. Yeah. And we played Ozark this past week. Coach, they started fast. They returned an opening kickoff, but you guys kind of settled in and seemed to put that behind y'all.
Yeah, our cover down unit has been really, really good for us. It's been one of our strong points in our special teams. And they did a really good job executing their special teams play, their kickoff return. They blocked it up well. We didn't fit it very well. Didn't make the play when we were in position. We had guys in position that just didn't make the play. And they executed it, and so they scored off of that. But we knew that once we got into the game, we knew that we could probably do what we needed to do to win the game. We weren't going to let that phase us, and our kids didn't let it phase us, and so that was really encouraging that they were able to look past that and just get into the game with a clear mind still.
Yeah, and they really got past it because 50 points in the first quarter, in the first half. Apologies. 6 touchdown passes from McCoy to multiple receivers.
Yeah. So, Ozark had a different game plan going in against us. They gave us, a little bit different than what they've shown on film, what they give other teams. They went cover zero and tried to bring pressure and try to be disruptive on, against our sophomore quarterback. And thought he handled it really, really well. Got the ball out of his hands quick. Our playmakers got open. We found them in space, and 6 touchdown passes is a big deal. Big night for our quarterback.
That is a big
and offense. Multiple guys getting it done. So it was a fun night offensively.
Yeah, that is a fun night offensively for sure. Whenever you can get 50 points and a half at any point and score in the second half as well, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But your defense also faced some really tough runners this week. Number 44 on their team was a unit, not going to lie. He was a tough guy to bring down, but also they had some big blockers there as well, even playing tight end, kind of some offensive line.
Historically, Ozark is a big, thick team. I mean, that's just kind of what they live off of, is being physical and strong and getting downhill hard and just being hard-nosed and gritty team. They've had some injuries. They've struggled at times this season. They still had the body types. They're still a big, physical, heavy football team, and their running back was a big physical runner, heavy. He turned around and played middle linebacker for him, and so he's a tough kid. And I thought our kids did a really good job responding to that. Did a good job of getting multiple hats to the ball and wrapping up and tackling, just getting the ball carried down.
Yeah, and it really was a good game. I really enjoyed it, especially from the fans' perspective. And I can tell you, Arkadelphia fans showed up this game. It was loud. The band was loud. It was just a fun atmosphere.
That's right. It's playoff
football.
Time. It's playoff time. People show up.
It was playoff football, and also the weather changing a little bit. Yeah. It was a little cold for some football. The lights
wasn't raining.
Got lower. That's true. No rain this week.
It wasn't raining.
Yeah, there was no rain this week. Well, Coach, I want to go ahead. I want to look at these highlights from this week, and I just want to enjoy this first little opening clip right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your Arkadelphia Fighting Badgers.
You can kind of tell the guys are just –
They're amped up.
Not just kind of. You can tell the guys are excited to play some playoff football. Coach,
it's playoff time.
What was your mindset coming into your first playoff game of the 2024 season?
To go execute and not make it, bigger than it is. We're at home. We're in front of our home crowd. Just go out and execute the way we've been executing. The process that we've had to get here has been really good. Our guys have developed and continue to grow throughout the season. You know, we're pretty dynamic on offense, really dynamic on defense. We're at this point of the season, we've probably seen just about everything there is to see, and in-game adjustments shouldn't be as big of an issue. And so there's not really a whole lot to really worry about. It's just about going out and getting it done, going out and executing what we call go and execute the scheme. You know, being able to handle those in-game adjustments throughout the game of whatever we're going to get. And I thought our guys did that. And so just go out, execute, have fun playing in the playoffs, and play with energy, get excited about it. And our guys are doing that right now, and it's a good time.
It is an exciting time, and you always have this chip on your shoulder because it is win or go home scenarios. So, Coach, let's talk about your offense. Let's just go offense, defense, and we'll talk a little bit about special teams. But offense, Coach, coming into this game, obviously McCoy had a great game, 6 touchdown passes to multiple receivers. Let's talk about McCoy.
Yeah, he did a really good job handling the pressure. You know, he knew that he was going to get pressure on him all night. They were trying to bring some pressure to get to him, but he stood in there and handled it. He delivered the ball really, really well, got the ball out of his hands on time. You know, he's shown a lot of maturity, and especially in this game against Ozark. He's grown so much over the course of the season. You know, he's past being a sophomore. You know, he's already finished a sophomore season. Now he's into an extra week of it. So just he's playing with so much confidence, playing with a lot of poise. He's just playing smart football overall.
And kind of just the play we just saw, obviously it was a little toss up in the air if our guy was going to catch it or not, but just to be able to receive that kind of pressure from a quarterback's perspective, you see your guy, you're throwing it, you have confidence in your receiver as well. That is very
he moves in the pocket really well. He's tough to get a beat on. There's been multiple situations this year where he's gotten pressure and been able to escape it, keeps his eyes up, finds a receiver. He does a really good job extending plays. And then we've got the playmakers around him that once they get the ball in their hands, they can do something with it. You know, they're dangerous with the ball in their hands. At all the skill positions, all 4 wide receivers, running back, and then also when we bring a tight end in, you know, he's dangerous too. He doesn't get to touch it a whole lot, but when he does, he can make something happen with it.
Yeah, and you mentioned your tight end, Skylar. I mean,
Skylar McClure.
He can make some touchdowns as well.
Absolutely.
Same as Amari or Jay or all the guys. Orion catching an interception right here. Let's go to defense now. Obviously, you had a couple turnovers for the game, and that's going to win you a lot of football games, especially in the future as well.
Talk about your defense. That was one of the most encouraging things about defensively Friday night was we were able to turn them over a couple times. That's something that we haven't done just a ton of the past couple weeks. You know, our defense does a good job of getting the offense off the field, but we just haven't, you know, forced turnovers as much as we would like to. But we did that Friday, and then the offense was able to capitalize on it. You know, those turnovers put us in good field position, create the momentum, just all the things that it takes to win the games. But defense did a really good job being disruptive. Ozark did a really good job in some situations that they created some explosive plays, but our defense didn't break. You know, they bent a little bit, but didn't break, didn't allow the points, and you know, ultimately created those turnovers and put us in good field position, kept the momentum, and really didn't allow much.
Coach, your defensive line just remains dominant almost every single game. Not almost, really every single game. And I bet you they'll do it for the next 4, hopefully. But, Coach, talk about your defensive line, Nykeeson, Xavier, Skylar, all the guys on the defensive line and how dominant they are.
They are. They've got really good ball get off. They're really good at, you know, their block destruction techniques. You know, we've got the bigger guys on the inside, and then we've got the skill guys on the edge. You know, Skylar and Xavier Williams, Skylar McClure, really, really good guys that can run you down off the edge at the defensive end spots. Then we got Nykeeson Wimberly, Javis Moody, Lance Gully on the interior that can really two-gap almost. You know, they do a good job at canceling blocks, canceling gaps. And then we got Jacoby Campbell that kind of plays inside and outside. He's a big enough body that he can go play defensive end. He's athletic to where he can get out there and run. And then inside, he's big and physical enough to be able to handle everything that he gets thrown at him inside. So we're able to be dynamic up front.
Coach, special teams right here. I saw Colton Plyler kind of make the first little contact right there and really got good field position for y'all. So
Colton's one of those kids, he's not going to back down from it. Right. You know, he's going to get there and he's going to make that play. You know, he's developed so much over the course of the season. He gets in there at safety a lot. He was able to play a lot Friday against Ozark. But that's one of his strong suits is he's not going to back down. He's going to go make a tackle.
Coach, with the playoffs and the junior high season ending, you got to play up a couple of your freshmen, and we'll get to see some of their highlights here in a second.
Yeah.
They got to see some action on Friday night. We got to see some first tackles in high school football, but also a touchdown by your freshman quarterback. That is awesome.
It was an awesome game for those guys. You know, we were able to bring up, I think, 11 ninth graders to help us out. You know, main thing is to – you know, what we explain to them is it's extra practice time for them. They can help us with some depth, and then, you know, they're able to help us with practice and just be a part of the team and get an extra experience, get a first look at what it's like to be a high school player. And those guys, we were able to get a few of them in Friday, and the guys that we put in did a really good job. It was so fun getting to see those guys go have the opportunity to make some plays, and they did. You know, we had a defensive lineman that was able to come in. I think he made a couple tackles. We had a safety that came in, made some tackles, both ninth graders. Corner that came in and had an opportunity for an interception. He dropped it, but he had an opportunity to get an interception. And then a quarterback came in also. He was able to run one in for a touchdown from about 25, 30 yards out. And so very talented players that we have coming up. We're excited about them.
Coach, we just saw Wagner get a pick six.
Yeah, going into halftime.
Once again, another defensive turnover.
Talk about for a touchdown. That's huge.
And you mentioned it was right at the end of the first half, right? Talk about how important just to close out the first half and the entrance into the second half, how important that is.
It is. You know, the game it's a lot to a little at that point, and it just made it more. But then coming out of halftime, we were to get the ball first. And so it was big for our offense to be able to go on the field. We didn't capitalize on that opportunity. You know, we did rotate. We pulled our starters at the beginning of the second half, so the whole second half was pretty much our backups. You know, and it's great for those guys to get to be able to play in the playoffs also. You know, we're excited that we get to play everybody or try to play everybody. And, you know, what we're seeing on the screen right now is a lot of those guys. Caden Whitaker, running back, runs strong. He's a sophomore running back for us. He's able to get in during he rotates in with the first group. But he was able to handle the whole second half, and the quarterback is a freshman right now. You know, he pulled this one. This is the one that he scored on, and you know, he's got some wheels. He can run a little bit, and so he's a bigger kid. He's got a talented arm and can run. You know, he's a really nice addition also. But having those guys come in, get the experience that they get in front of a home crowd, it's just really, really good. It's special as a program to have so many kids able to come in and play and make the plays and get excited and continue to get better week by week in the playoffs, and just getting that extra time is huge.
Yeah, I mean, that is just that's some of the biggest things that you can have as a freshman to get really extra practice. You already have you have the up for next season for sure.
Yeah.
As a incoming freshman going into your sophomore year.
It's huge.
That is very big.
It is, because, you know, like, you know, we talk about Nikese and Wimberly on the defensive line. We got Kyle Reed at starting running back right now. I'm sure there's a couple others, but, you know, back when you were a senior at Shiloh, you know, those guys were ninth graders that came up and were part of the team. They were on the sideline dressed out whenever we played against you guys. Yeah. And so they've been around that long, and they've had that many extra games as a player. And so, you know, from their sophomore, I didn't really think about this, but their sophomore year, their junior year, and their senior year, this is the 8th extra week of the playoffs that they've had. You know, it's even more than that if you look back to their freshman year of what they've gotten. So they've played almost a whole season extra than what they're allotted for, you know, just a normal 10-game schedule.
Yeah, and that really does put Arkadelphia that just sets you apart from a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So that is just a huge prop to you and your staff as well. So that's awesome. I love that. That just makes a program so much better for the future.
Yeah, it does.
Coach, let's talk about your players of the week from this past week, the Ozark game. And kind of in the playoffs, we're going to pick one per week.
Yeah,
so
we're just going to do one.
This is how we're going to do it.
It's more of a
Bryson
team.
McCoy.
It's more of a team
Yeah.
deal in the play, especially in the playoffs. It's more of just a team win. But we'll just go with one player of the week. Bryson McCoy was our player of the week this week. Had a 76% completion percentage for over 250 yards and 6 touchdowns through the air. So very special performance. He's, like we said before, he's sophomore, but he's more mature than that at this point of the season.
Yeah, just the in-game decisions that he makes. It just you don't see a lot of sophomore quarterbacks have the skill he has, the smarts he has, anything like that. The leadership he has as well. Coach, his leadership is probably amazing.
He's very
Let's talk about
poised.
that.
He's very poised. He's always in control and he's calm. Even when he's not perfect, he's ready to go back out the next drive. He doesn't let a mistake turn into 2 mistakes, and that's one of the things at the quarterback position that is easy to do. It's, he's so level-headed that he's able to clear his mind and get back out there. And there wasn't many mistakes Friday.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's been really fun watching McCoy all season long. And hopefully we'll get to see him another 4 weeks, including this week. So, Coach, let's talk about your Badger Spirit Award winner this week.
Badger Spirit Award winner this week is Carter Croza, little brother to senior right tackle Carson Croza. But Carter is our Badger Spirit Award winner this week. He's a 6th grader, coming up to be a 7th grader on next year's 7th grade football team. But this year he is one of our ball boys, one of our helpers on the sideline. He kind of like one of those guys that can do it all. He helps us out with the ball, just getting everything set up on the sideline, just all the things. He's been doing it all season long. Just a very reliable to have on the sideline. We need those guys. It's one of the things that kind of get overlooked throughout the season, and by most people don't really notice, but as coaches we definitely do, because we need those guys to help and be a part. And it's great, just having those younger guys like him who, next year will be a 7th grade football player for us. Just having those guys around the program and seeing how it is, and just the pride that they have for being a Badger.
That's right. And once again, just like your freshmen playing up, it's basically like your 7th graders are getting to see the game from the game field. So that's great once again for Carter. So congratulations, Carter and Bryson, on your little players of the week. And I want to go now to the player interviews. Millie Babb got to sit down with Xavier Williams and Amari Ford this week. So let's head to Arkadelphia High School and hear these interviews.
Hi guys, I'm here with 2 juniors, number 83 Xavier Williams and number 13 Amari Ford. X, how long have you been playing football and what do you like most about it?
I've been playing football since the 7th grade, and the thing I like most about it is walking down. It really hypes up the crowd, it hypes me up, makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Amari?
I've been playing football since 6th grade, tackle football since 6th grade. My favorite thing about it is, at first it was playing receiver because I like to catch on people, but now I like to hit people. So I guess like making a tackle, making big plays, that's my favorite part about it.
All right, next, what is your favorite part about Friday nights at Badger Stadium?
I really like the environment, if I'm being honest. The lights, the fans, the crowd noise, the band, I like all of it.
Mm-hmm. And X, what about you?
Really the way you can just interact with anybody. Everybody has their different reactions, and it's just kind of fun and funny to see what they do.
Over the past few weeks, we've had lots of seniors tell us their goal was to be conference champions. Well, we finished goal number 1. Next, what are you going to do to make sure your team makes it to state?
Honestly, just try and keep everybody, going, make sure they don't get bored, their spirits, keep them high, because, that's really what matters at the end of the day. If you don't have the, intensity, if you don't have the spirit, you can't do anything with that, all that.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Amari?
Just do the little things right. Take it one game at a time. Focus in practice. Make sure you do what your coach is telling you to do. We're going to make it.
This is your guys' first playoff appearance. What is that mindset shift from regular season to playoffs?
I would say it went from wanting to be the best that now I have to be the best, Back then, I was just like, going with the motions, really having fun. But now I feel like this is something I have to do. This is something I have to get.
And what about you, Amari?
The shift was being more locked in at practice, because I usually goof off a lot at practice. But I want to be more locked in and focus more on what we got to, so we can achieve our goal to make it to state.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, it's time for our 5-second pop quiz. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you have to answer them as soon as you can think of it. Y'all ready? What is your favorite color?
Black and gold.
Blue.
Your NFL team?
Vikings.
Kansas City Chiefs.
What is your go-to Sonic order?
Blue raspberry lemonade with nerds.
A number 3 with a large lemonade.
What is y'all's game ritual?
Eating Mike and Nights, having fun and chilling until it's time to go.
Listening to Adele.
And then finally, what is your extracurricular that you do outside of sports?
Really anything, just as long as it's fun.
Playing a game with my friends and doing stuff.
Well, we're happy that Amari listened to some good music and
Yeah.
Adele. So that's pretty awesome. Really, we appreciate you doing that with X and Amari. So, Coach, let's talk about a little bit about some more football. Let's go to the 4A7 results from this past week. It seems that we have 3 teams that are now out of the playoffs from the 4A7. So let's just go through the score. Haskell Harmony Grove 0, Southside Batesville 42, Ashdown 7, Highland 10, Nashville 13, Pocahontas 28, Malvern 28, Pottsville 27, pulling it out there kind of towards the end, 28-27. And our Arkadelphia Badgers 57 to Ozark's 12. And that was, the 12 was scored once at the beginning and once at the very end, 57-12. And so kind of now remaining, I apologize. This week in the 4A7, the playoff schedule, there's only Malvern and Arkadelphia left. And so Malvern will be, they'll probably be hosting Highland.
Yeah.
And then Arkadelphia, Gentry, the Gentry Pioneers are coming to town to Arkadelphia. This should be a fun game. I've gotten to play Gentry my entire life. And so let's talk about that, Coach. Arkadelphia, Gentry is coming into town. They just had their first playoff win, I think, since the 90s or the 80s or something like that. So obviously they're on a high. They're ready to play some Badgers. What do you have to say?
Yeah, they're a good football team. They're big, they're strong, they're physical. They come from a good conference where there's good football play. They're well coached, and they're riding that high of winning their first playoff game in a long, long time. And so those kids are trying to make it happen again. It should be a really good game. We're glad that we're at Badger Stadium. We don't have to make the trip all the way up there.
Yeah.
But we're expecting a really good game, and we got to be prepared and ready. Anything can happen in the playoffs, and everybody's in the same situation. Doesn't matter what really happened. During the regular season, everybody's in the same situation of if you win, you survive, you lose, you're done. And so the biggest thing is to be the best team Friday night.
That's right. They have a good running back. They got good receivers.
They've got good playmakers.
Yeah.
They've got a good quarterback. They're big up front on both sides of the ball, and they play a lot of guys both ways. And so, a lot of people can look at that as being a negative, but when they're good players, I mean that's a positive for them. That means they've got good players on the field at all times, and so we've got to be prepared. We've got to be ready to go.
Yes, sir. Well, round 2 of the playoffs will be at Badger Stadium in Arkadelphia this Friday. The playoff game is at 7 o'clock at All Care Field at Badger Stadium. All tickets, once again, need to be purchased online through the GoFan app, GoFan, GoFan app. Be on the lookout on the Badger Athletics Facebook page for more information on how to purchase the tickets. It's the same as last week, the same app, so go ahead and just buy them right now. Just after this video, you'll hit pause, and then you'll swipe up. If you have an iPhone, you go to the GoFan app and get a ticket. So come out this Friday. If you can't make it, watch on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com and support your Badgers, Coach. It's been fun, but let's do it again next week.
That's right.
Let's win.
If we're doing this again next week, that means we won the game, and that's the whole goal.
That's right. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate you watching, and go Badgers.
Go Badgers.
Inside Badger Football is brought to you by Bell Wealth Services, Welch Funeral Home, Wingfield Properties, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Sporting Goods, Turner, Rogers, Manning, and Plyler, Taylor King Law, Trinity Temple Assembly of God, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone CPA, South Central Connect, Java Primo, Southwest Auto Group, R&T Dixon Enterprises, Ludwig's Bakery, the law offices of Gina White, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Batson Signs, Print Mania, Scott Bird DDS, Sexton Law Firm, Chad Kesterson Shelter Insurance, Chicken Express, Pediatrics Plus, and Providence Veterinary Care. Inside Badger Football is produced weekly by the Rogers Department of Communications at Ouachita Baptist University and the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.